Okay, the Rebbe's Maamar of Ledodi in Sefer Maamar Kutreisim Chelik Dalet, page Shin Samachay. We're at Oisei. Okay, last thing the Rebbe was explaining, we didn't learn for a few days. The last thing the Rebbe was explaining, that L'cha'era, to explain the Gilui of Elul, and the Gilui given to everybody, why is it relevant? The main thing is that the king is in the field. Why is it relevant that the king accepts everybody with panim sechakais, umar panim yafis l'kulam? Why is that relevant to the point that the king accepts everybody and gives everybody? And also, why the Rebbe asks, why does it say mekabel kulam? He sees everybody b'sefer panim yafis, and then umar, and he shows. So the Rebbe started explaining before that the chiddush of the revelation of Elul, even greater than Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, is because in order to come to Avodah of Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, like we learned, you have to be a chosen person, a unique person. Once the king's in the palace, you can't just go visit the king. You have to be a special person. And another thing is that even the people that are in the midbar could also come and meet the king. Okay, so he says now like this. In hey, Maamar, and the Alter Rebbe adds in the Maamar, that the king shows everybody this smiley face, so to speak. The difference between receiving and showing the losh and mekabel, because when you say the expression receiving, neifel adavar sheyashlim mikedim lefnei shekibel v'u mekabel es adavar. The Rebbe explains it this: receiving something means the thing exists, and now you're going to receive it. If the thing doesn't exist, you can't say I'm receiving it. I'm receiving means something that exists. But on the other hand, when you say I'm showing you, that means he's taking the initiative. It's not something that's there already. He's doing it on his own. That even before he shows it, that level exists. He's revealing it to his friend. Meaning like this. First, there's a level of relationship with the king and the nation in a way that he's receiving them, meaning that level exists and he's just receiving them. Now there's a deeper level. He's showing, meaning it doesn't even exist yet and the king is giving it on his own. So the Rebbe said, after he says that the king accepts everybody, he receives everybody with that good countenance, like he said before, that gives the kulam. That means even those people that just want to see the king, they don't understand the king, they just want to come and see the king shows it to them. Then he adds a second aspect, that shmad panim sechakas l'kulam, meaning like this: this that the king receives them means because the people want to go to the king. There's something that he's receiving, meaning there's people that want to come to the king, and the king is receiving them. The king can't receive people that don't want to come to him, because it has to be their initiative. So one aspect means like this: all those people that want to go see the king in Elul, they want to go from the midbar or the Sada, to go out into the Sada to meet the king. Then he adds a second thing, the Madapanim Seichakas, meaning when a person wants to come see the king, which means in a practical language, the guy wants to come see the king, he wants to do tshuva, he wants to become closer to the king. So once you have that aspect, that the person with their own initiative is going out to meet the king, so then the king gives the gilui of above, the revelation from above, that the guy could do tshuva even if he's in a level of midbar. Then the king takes the initiative. The revelation of the smiley face, meaning he reveals the pleasure of the king in the relationship that the person had to come see the king. In other words, there's an initial step. The king goes out into the field. And as the Rebbe explained before what that means, it's not that it's awakening the people. Because Ani Ledodi means David is coming momata, from the Jew. So the king goes out into the field, the Rebbe explains, means that a Jew has now the ability to come meet the king. Then when the person comes to the king, Mekabel Kulam, the person is now coming to the king, taking the initiative. So now the king is Megala B'Sever Ponim Yofes. Huh? 1 second. And then once that happens, then Hashem reveals from above the ability for them to do tshuva, even though they came from the midbar. Why? By revealing the tainug, ha'elyon, that Hashem has in the relationship with every single Jew, that stimulates the Jew to actually be able to do tshuva. But it came first from the Jew going to meet the king. Ani Ledodi, David of the Jew. The tainug is that this tainug that he's awakening within the Jew is l'mayla mi'atainug b'chinas panim yafes. That means eres hatshuva, that it gets awakened by tshuva. First, the king mekabel kulam b'sever panim yafes. Sever panim yafes means he smiles at you, but it's not the level so much. With good countenance, not even smiling. He receives you warmly, but the king is not smiling to you. So there's one level that the person, by coming to meet the king is very warm to you. But then the king does its own initiative. That when you're coming, then the king is revealing to you, within you, a level of tainug, which is the essence of the neshama. Hashem reveals the essence of the neshama within that Jew, that he can come and do tshuva taka. Kumavur b'makam ached, the sheirech haschek of panim secha case, like the Rebbe explained, the Mittel Rebbe explains, that the source of schek of panim secha case comes from the essence of tainug, which is called tainug abilti murkav. Okay, whatever. Simple English is like this. It says in Chassidus, there's a tainug that comes from something. Something causes you enjoyment. Okay? That level of tainug is limited based on the amount of the thing that he likes. You do something I enjoy, so based on how much I enjoy it, that's how much tainug I'm going to have. But then there's an essential level of tainug. Has nothing to do with any cause and effect. It's an essential level of tainug that your existence is my existence. It's a pleasure that your existence gives to my existence because we're the same existence. And that is when the Jew comes to do tshuva. So therefore this level, that the king reveals after the person takes the initiative, that he wants to come see the king, and as the Rebbe explained, it means he wants to do tshuva. He's going out from the midbar or the Sada to go meet the king. So he wants to do tshuva. That causes that the king, number one, acts warmly to him. Save upon him yafis. But then it's a second level the king does to him. He reveals the essential bond, not a bond caused by any particular action. He reveals an essential bond which is higher than any mitzvah can possibly cause. Which means, Chassidus explains like this. We know tshuva is greater than all mitzvahs. Tshuva is the essence of everything. Tshuva was created before the world. Tshuva is the essence of Yiddishkeit. That level of tshuva, of the Jew returning to Hashem, is an essential. That's why tshuva, how long does it take to do tshuva? A second. Shaita chodo rega is even quicker than a second, by the way. Mitzvahs are limited in time and place. You have to do a mitzvah at a certain time in a certain place. You have to do the mitzvah for X amount of time, or in a certain time and place. Tshuva is timeless, placeless, in a split second, you have, why? Because tshuva taps in to a level of the neshama and the relationship with Hashem, which is above time and place. The Chassidus explains, how is it, I sinned a week ago, I sinned a month ago, and now today I'm going to do tshuva what I did a year ago, a month ago, a week ago, whatever. How is that possible? That's in the history books. It's already gone. It's done. How can he undo something of the past? And by the way, it's interesting, the Rogatchover explains, and the Rebbe has a lot of sikhs on this, that tshuva of a goy is only from here onward. It doesn't undo the past. He brings a proof from Ninveh, whatever. But the bottom line is, the Rogatchover explains that the tshuva of a goy cannot undo the past. From here on, you have a clean slate, so to speak. From here on, you're good. But by a Jew, the level of tshuva, as we know, undoes the past. Why? Because tshuva of a Jew, which comes from the pintali, the nukudas of the neshama, which is a chelek alakamima, which is a part of Hashem, that is timeless and placeless. So it doesn't matter what time or what place, what it is. Tshuva can undo everything of the past. Why? Because tshuva taps into a level of elokus which is above time and place. A guy can't reach that level. A guy is not connected to the essence of Hashem, which is above time and place. So the Rebbe is explaining over the level of tshuva that the Jew accomplishes. And now, mad upon him seicha kuslukulam, after the king sees that the Jew is coming to meet the king and do tshuva, so then the king first of all accepts you warmly, meaning he gives you the koyach for that, but that's your coming. Now is the second level that the king is initiating. The king reveals this level of essence of Hashem, which is the essence of the Jew, and therefore the Jew can do tshuva, even from a level of midbar, which is even lower than Sada.
What do you mean that a guy can only do teshuva for the future? There's nothing he has done in the future that needs to do teshuva for.
No, like this, he has a bad connection. Now he gets a good connection, but it doesn't make the past good. He can't make the past evil into good. Now, like this year, he did a lot of bad, so we have a bad connection. So, okay, we're forgetting the past, so to speak. From here on, we have a good connection.
I think tshuva for the future means that a person has a death sentence not shown, and did tshuva, and Hashem says, I forgive you.
Because right now, you don't deserve a death sentence, but it's not undoing it's not making the Averis into mitzvahs.
I mean, I'm saying it's very good, that Hashem forgives his sins, that he's not going to be punished for them.
Tshuva v'goy is also good. Look at the whole Mafta Yaina, okay, which is right before Ne'ilah, which is the holiest time of Yom Kippur. What do we talk about? Tshuva v'goy. Tshuva v'ninvei.
But a bad thing that's supposed to happen is not going to happen because I did tshuva.
Correct.
That's very good.
Yeah, but it doesn't come to the level that Avedas become mitzvahs.
All the Jews, teshuva, Averis, mitzvahs?
No, it depends a lot, but there's tshuva miyira, tshuva miyava. There's one level of tshuva, the Gemara says, the intentional Avedas become like accidental, which is not as severe. Then there's another level of the accidental Averis are cleaned, as if you never did it. And a greater level, the Gemara says, is Dainis Nasali Kazachis. That's tshuva miyava. That's not the every Tamdik and Harry's tshuva. That's Rabbi but the Dayus tshuva, you know, that level of tshuva. Over there, tshuva doesn't mean the tshuva of a Jew. It's a different level of tshuva. That's what I'm saying. It's not the toshiv hey of hey law and hey tato, you know, that level. No, it's not. But the Rebbe is here explaining that in the month of Elul, the king reveals this level of tainug, which is, he says, that gilui of tainug, from the essence of Hashem, gets rid of all the blockages. But you still have to go out to meet the king. I mean, you can go out to the field, but you still might not be going out to meet the king. Going out to the field, because that's what people are doing. You want to just follow the crowd. Or you just want to change your pace, so you go to the field. Saying you're going to meet the king. Okay, hey. No, I'm sorry. Bottom line. The Indian panim secha case by nimshul. This panim secha case in the nimshul, not in the mashal. Is tainug the lamaila should be Yisrael atzma. Is the tainug which is in the Yidden themselves, meaning like this. Shalamaila mi atainug shemikim ter mitzvahs Yisrael. The Rebbe says, we learned the Rebbe, that the key Ma'arim Panim Seicha case, the Mittel Rebbe explains, refers to the tainug, which is not connected to any action, it's not ayidei davar, right? There's no, the Rebbe used the expression, atzmus a tainug built-in murkov. Okay, that means the tainug is not coming from everybody. So the Rebbe explains, the tainug that Hashem gets from a Jew doing Torah mitzvahs, as great as that tainug is, it's still a tainug based on the Torah mitzvahs. The Torah mitzvahs are causing the tainug. If there's cause and effect, the effect can only be based on the cause. Based on how much cause there is, how you do the mitzvah, how kavanah, but the intent of the love of the mitzvah, not just doing it. You're doing it, so that connects to the level of, that causes tainug. And the Rebbe explains this tshuva is higher than Torah mitzvahs. That means this is the level of a yid which is greater than Torah. A yid, it's a medrash, we learned this many times. The Gemara says 7 things chadam l'olam. Then the Gemara said, bottom line, 2 things chadam l'olam. Okay? Yisrael ve'eraisa. Jews are higher than the world, and Torah is higher than the world. Because it says, Yistakol b'eraisa b'arei alma. Hashem looked into Torah and created the world. So Torah obviously was there first. Or medrash says the expression in the blueprints. Then you have the level of Torah, the Jews. The medrash says, V'mi nimlech v'nishmasem shel Yisrael. With who did Hashem decide to create the world? With the neshamas of Yidden. Okay, that doesn't mean he had a board meeting. It means the whole purpose of creation was neshamas. So neshamas are greater than world, Torah is greater than world. And then the medrash says, Mi kadma lami. So the medrash says, the fact that Torah says, Daber el b'nei Yisrael, Torah says, speak to the Jews, that means the Jews, so to speak, are already there. Which again, there's no time there. So it means that neshamas are even greater than Torah. So there's a tainug that Torah mitzvahs cause. And then there's a tainug just by being a yid, and revealing that what the yid is, that itself is a greater tainug than the tainug of Torah mitzvahs.